Hello, and welcome to March 17th, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, something that I do each and every morning to remember my life objectives and principles and to see how I'm doing applying them to the day. Yesterday was a very straightforward day, just so full of work that there really was no latitude or little opportunity for any challenge. There was one curious thing, in terms of temperance. I was, after work, I walked the dogs, took them for a really long walk. And after that, I needed to go to the pet store to get some dog food. And so I hopped in Yumiko's car and was driving on my way. And I came to an intersection. And as I came to a stop, I was actually at a stop. A little big truck, well, medium-sized truck. I wouldn't have been able to see if it was big. Pulled up beside me, and a young man, probably 17, 18 years old, turned around and was kind of making a face at me. Kind of like something like that. Now, there's no way that it could have been road rage in any form. One, because it was ridiculous. He was clearly just making a funny scene. Nobody was in the truck with him. And two, I had been parked in the left turn lane for quite a while, and cars had been going by, so I had even engaged with him. And there's no chance that I could have engaged with him. Made some silly senior moment and made him upset. So that wasn't the case. He had just kind of picked me. His car was slowing down. He had kind of picked me out of the crowd to prod for some reason. And it wasn't quite as good-natured as it was kind of it wasn't overtly aggressive, but it was engaged. He was engaged in getting a rise out of me, which he failed at because #temperance and good emotional reactions. Now, I'm not saying that I'm invulnerable to response. It's just that went slowly enough, and I know that there was no connection. I did the calculus in my head pretty quick to figure out that this is just a silly young man. And so I let him be his silly self. And I was grateful for the fact that he moved on, and he parked just ahead of me, and then the light turned green and we all moved and he was gone. And he never kind of looked in his mirror or anything like that to see if I was catching up. I was wondering what was going on in his mind. Sleep, really good night's sleep. I had so many things I wanted to do in the evening last night, but the day was just consumed with work and then household stuff that I didn't get a chance to do any of it. I went to bed at my usual time, and I didn't really. I got up once to something upset Rudy the dog, so I got up to open the door and let him go sniff around. I think Emily made a noise, and everything was fine. He does that often. He can hear the family. He goes to bed with me, and he's got a little bed beside the bed. A really nice little cave of his. I'd love to crawl in there. And anytime he hears things in the household, he gets upset. So I have to get up and let him out. Not always, but sometimes. Sometimes he calms down. Anyway, other than that, I just got up right when the alarm went off. That's the first time in a long time that's happened. Wow. You'd think I would have been remarked on that right straight away, given that my insomnia is a main topic for my days. Okay, let's do the good life. To be always ready to die. To make good use of my time. To develop good and sound life principles. And to cultivate good emotional reactions. To perform good actions. To recognize my true limits and my true opportunity. And to do just one thing at a time. And to do that thing slowly. And to always be at war with any proposition of truth that has some substance to it, and to use reason and objectivity and honesty and skepticism as my guides. To remember that I have no soul, that my death will be an absolute affair, that my consciousness is connected to myself, wired in, part of the wiring, a result of the wiring, and there's no escape. And that ultimately, each of us is quite alone within our brains. Even if we're holding one another, we're still alone. And that ideas of right and wrong and good and evil reside with my consciousness, are a consequence of that process, and are not anything absolute. And that my purpose will be to be a good husband and father, and a good virtuous man, and to pursue the mission of sharing my story in my book, Going Alone. A story of going alone and then coming back home. To keep in mind that everything is made of atoms, and that free will is an illusion, and that maturity is the consequence of remembering what we've done in the past that succeeded, that worked, and that failed, and then having the strength to improve going forward. To be a social human being, to seek out others, and to be very careful about what I say and what I write, to read things twice, the important things thrice, before clicking the send button. To be temperate, in control of my consumption, having just enough, not too much. I did good on that yesterday. I was really temperate with literally my food consumption yesterday. I'm proud of that. To remember that life is a pretty bad place. A lot of terrible things going on, but a lot of opportunities for good too. And to bear what I need to bear, to carry on with what I need to do, especially in fulfillment of my obligations, and to hold my emotions within, sharing them with at select and appropriate times, but not spewing them out to the world. Likewise, not consuming the spew of others. That sounds nasty. To remember that it's easy to distract our lives away. So that we don't have to see the apparent emptiness behind the veil of life. To be content where I am, who I am, and what I'm doing, while all the while striving to improve, and to be ready to step lively upon the avenue to new adventure and new life, to take risks, to gamble with this one life. To be careful to attend to my responsibilities and the activities that I need to do to create a safe and sound life for my family. My education, my job, a safe and warm place to live, full bellies, planning for my eventual retirement, while all the while striving after the deeper self. To not believe things too easily or readily, or to be superstitious, or to cling to hope, or to turn to faith, or authority, or dogma, to take on the hard work of figuring out what is really true on my own, with the help of others, but relying on my own reasoned inquiry. One exception to that is in the realm of science, where peer review provides a type of not a guarantee, but some substance to propositions of truth when they've been examined, when these propositions have been examined and tested, validated, verified is maybe a better word, confirmed is better still, to be true, or at least tentatively true, because science is always tentative. And to never, ever, 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 ever gossip. To remember that when I die, that's the end. There's nothing after this. Nothing but the dissolution of my molecules into atoms, and back to be reused in different ways. To have one or more great life adventure in my life. To write about it, or make a video, or somehow capture whatever words come as a result of the life that I choose. To remember that when I strive for the mark, I usually miss. That life is an uphill climb, and an arena where we get to use our principles towards better living. To remember that nothing is enough, or very little is enough, and then to try to have fun. Still working on that one. I guess that's that. As for today, big meetings today, half a day plus of just solid meetings, but I think I'm ready. I'm not, fortunately, this is not my meeting, the one big one. It's a meeting to engagement with a vendor. This is where, the vendor's getting their, we're getting as the customer, we're getting our money's worth. We're paying them for a big event today. I don't have to do more than kind of facilitate the event, but make sure it goes well. Take notes, and then share those after. But I do hope it goes well. But it's a little out of my hands. True limits and true opportunity, right? And if I get a little luck later in the evening, maybe I'll be able to read a little bit. We'll see. Thanks for joining me. Be safe, but not too safe.